What's up YouTube? This is Mike, and today I'm going to show you my system for remembering and reminding myself about things. I am notoriously forgetful, as many of my friends and coworkers will tell you, and about 6 months ago I tripped over what I think at least is a great method, at least for me, of going ahead and reminding myself about things. So what I use is the iOS Reminders app. So you may have gone in this app once or twice, and it's pretty simple. What you do is you can go ahead and click this plus field and add a reminder. So you can, add whatever reminder you want, and you hit return, and boom, that's now a reminder. So you go ahead, you can remind yourself on a day, you can remind yourself when you get to a location, you can give yourself, different priorities, although I never use those. And when you're done, you just go ahead and fill in the circle, and boom, it's done. Now you'll see a bunch of other filled circles of goofy stuff. This is just me practicing before, just to get this down for the video. So, here's the thing. I don't really use the keyboard. So, the reason why I don't use the keyboard is that it's a slow input method for all but the, most complicated things that I can't use with my normal method, which I'll show you in a moment. And the big thing about any organization or reminder system is that if it's not dead simple and easy to use, you're going to stop using it after a week. So what I found is that I use Siri to essentially put my reminders in. And I'm going to show you how I do that right now. Now I have an iPhone 6s Plus, and the S series allows you to have always-on Siri integration. So I can go, "Hey Siri, remind me that my boss needs to give me a raise."
Okay, I'll remind you.
And boom, I have that reminder. Now, even if you don't have a newest iPhone, you can still invoke Siri very easily. All you have to do is just hold down the button and start speaking, and they'll basically go ahead and invoke Siri, and you can go from there. So I just gave you a sample reminder, right? I just said, "Remind me to do this thing."
Okay, I'll remind you.
And of course, this kind of gets the what I was doing wrong, but I'm going to get into that in a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and just mark that complete. So the other thing you need to know about reminders is that there's a lot of flexibility in the language you can use. So for example, I can say, "Feed my dog."
I'm not sure I understand.
Sorry, I can say, "Remind me to feed my dog."
Okay, I'll remind you.
Okay? And that's going to pop a reminder. But it's not really useful because you won't see that reminder unless you check the Reminders app. What's better is that if you set a time-based reminder. "Remind me tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. to feed my dog."
Okay, I'll remind you.
Boom, done. And that'll pop up a notification with a little sound once 7 a.m. arrives tomorrow. So you also have a way to set recurring reminders. So you can say, "Remind me to feed my dog every Tuesday at 9 a.m.
Okay, I'll start reminding you.
And boom, it'll remind you every week.
Are you sure you want to delete?
Remove that.
Okay, I deleted it.
So that's a great way to do recurring reminders. Now iOS 9 added a very nice addition to this. So there's contextual reminders, which are kind of goofy and don't work with all apps, and I don't really use those too much, but let me show you the real MVP of iOS 9 that I constantly use. Now, if you're at work and you want to be reminded about something when you get home, or you're at home and you want to be reminded about something when you get to work, you can set a time-based alarm, but maybe you don't know when you're going to get home, or maybe you don't know when you're going to get to work, or something like that. So you can use location-based reminders. So I can say something like, "Remind me to feed my hamster when I get home."
Okay, I'll remind you when you arrive at home.
And what this does is it actually uses location gating to note that When you get home, it'll pop this reminder. Now it's kind of inexact, so it'll basically pop for you as you're walking up to your, house or apartment or whatever. But it's close enough and it's timely enough that if you need to be reminded to do something as soon as you get home or as soon as you get to the workplace, it's great. So that's pretty much it. That's my entire system. And like I said, I usually set time-based reminders, and when these reminders pop, I can just go ahead and either snooze them or complete them, and that pretty much handles everything for me. So I want to point out something real quick. So I was trying to remind myself to make a YouTube video, and Siri interpreted it as make a YouTube pretty. Okay, so this is the one, kind of downfall of this system, is that Siri isn't always going to be able to catch everything you say. But 9 times out of 10, you should just ignore that and rely on the reminder, because here's why. Okay, so I could have, spent a couple minutes going in and fixing this and changing it to video, but when that popped this morning, well, I obviously knew, what make a YouTube pretty is. As long as you can glean the context from the reminder, just fire it off and be done with it. Because again, the number one thing that keeps people from using these kinds of systems is a slow input method. So make your input as fast and as painless as possible. A lot of times I'll just think of something and I'll just bang out a reminder on Siri and boom, that's it. I don't have to worry about it, and now it's off my mind. This is an incredibly nice system for just, if you're the kind of person who's constantly worrying about things because you forget them, this will be like a weight off your shoulders. So definitely give it a shot. Let me know what you think. Again, this is iOS tailored, but I do believe Google has a similar system set up with Google Now and, or OK Google, I should say, and Google Keep. So you can also try that there. And I even think they have location-based reminders and things like that. Anyway, I hope this works out for you, and thanks for watching.